Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Rodriguez Reviews / Real Rap Entertainment. I'm one of the co-hosts, Javier. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today we're going to be talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer. What did I do last summer? Last summer, I basically chilled and worked and watched a lot of movies, as I usually do. But let's kind of talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is kind of like a remake, reboot from the original 1997 I Know What You Did Last Summer. So let's talk about this is kind of like a new modernized version of it. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is directed by Jennifer Caitlin Robinson and stars Madeline Klein, Chase Sue Wonders, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Jennifer Love Hewitt reprising their roles from the original film. So for those of you who have seen the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, it kind of follows the familiar formula, but if you didn't, here's a little bit of a recap on it. So basically, 5 friends are involved in an accident. They try to cover up the situation, and they make a pact to never tell anybody or never go back to that crazy, horrific night that they had. Then, about a year later, a stalker sends them a letter, reminds them of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And actually, another thing, too, I want to point out is when I went to see the film, I actually did get some cool I Know What You Did Last Summer cards right here. These are postcards. They're actually pretty fun, and I actually kind of like that. I always love some film memorabilia right here, and I actually have another one, too. The baller right there, I Know What You Did Last Summer right there, and it's got the fake blood and stuff. So these are actually pretty cool collectible postcards that I got. So, neat little gift. But anyway, so we talked about that. Basically, very, very same premise to the original film. So, I have to say with this one, and I am a fan of the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. I actually own it on 4K. And don't get me wrong, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original one, it's not a good movie by any means, but it's a fun, entertaining movie. That's what I enjoyed about it. It's a product of its time. It was late 90s. You had all these late 90s stars who just were iconic at the time and still are iconic. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, just stars that defined the 90s. And it's good to see them reprising their roles. Freddie Prinze Jr., he reprises his role as Ray, and Jennifer Love Hewitt reprises her role as Julie. So it's great to see these guys. And going back to what I was saying earlier is how I really did like the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm a fan of it. It's goofy, it's corny, but it's fun. It's entertaining. It entertains me. I like it. I like to revisit it around Halloween. And it's a fun movie. This one, I'm kind of mixed on it. This one, there are some things that I really did like from this new version of it, and there's some things that I really didn't like from this new version of it. So, kind of up in the air here. While this new version does add a few twists and turns, which I appreciate, and of course you get new characters, it just didn't seem to, hit the mark and be kind of that fun, iconic, entertaining part as the original. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is a horrible movie or anything like that, but I Know What You Did Last Summer came out in the fall of 97, and it was, in a way, a product of its time. I think it worked well in that era. And I think this movie coming out, over 25 years later, it has its moments, but some of them just didn't land too well, and it just feels like a complete, canny, almost remake of the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. And don't get me wrong, it's not a complete identical remake. What I do appreciate from this modern version is they do try to add new tweaks, new twists and turns. Some of it, though, just comes across as, too, Gen Z buzzworthy and, basically like the TikTok phase, all that stuff. And I'm trying my best to kind of, put my finger on it here. This one kind of rambles a little bit at times. Some of the characters' decisions are not the best, but on a positive note, to give it credit, I thought that Madeline Klein and Chase Sue Wonders were incredible in this movie. I thought they were perfectly casted. They embodied that if this were made in the 90s, I could definitely see there's characters in there, and they embodied it for today's generation and time. So that's one thing I appreciate was the casting. I thought that those two ladies were fantastic. They're really fun. Kind of it gets a little choppy, though, with the story towards the middle, finding out, who's the killer, all that stuff. Its final product just comes across as maybe just too much nostalgia And the nostalgia, I'm all here for nostalgia. Don't get me wrong, I love me some nostalgia. Calling back to nostalgia waves. When I did my review on the Karate Kid Legends, we talked about the nostalgia waves, but it just kind of numbs it up a little bit, and it makes the nostalgic parts like only the certain parts worth watching. And it does offer a few new characters, it does offer twists, but at the end, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the remake, it didn't really stand out to me as much as the original one in 97. And while the film does have a few ups, it does have its downs, which kind of makes it slightly unbalanced for me. I had a decent time with it. I'm not going to say that this is like a horrible movie. It is a movie that I would rewatch. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air for me. Like I said, there's some moments that I thought were really good in the movie, and then there were just ones that just kind of crossed. It's just kind of like dull and just ran a little too long. Decent kills. I mean, you would expect that really from a kind of a slasher, because this is a little bit, it took a little bit more with the killing in this one, a little bit more slasher, gory, whereas the one in 97 was a little bit more tamed with its killing. But overall, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I mean, if you're a really diehard fan of it, it could be up in the way. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan of the franchise, but I am a fan. I'm a casual fan. So in the end, I Know What You Did Last Summer offers a few fun moments, but in the end, its product seems like, oh, I kind of wish they took a different direction. I'm kind of expecting a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and give What You Did Last Summer a mixed review. I'm going to give it a C+. Maybe if I rewatch it, my grade could go up or down regardless of it. But for the time being, I mean, it was a decent time. It could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse too at the same time. So overall, I'm going to give it a C+. Alright guys, thanks, and stay tuned for my next review here at Rodriguez Reviews /Real Rap.